Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Board of Sewer Commissioner meeting. It is March 14th at approximately 6:30. May I have a roll call, please?
Jim Gibberti here.
Pete Dunlop here. Bob Scanlon here.
Bernie Pigeon here.
Sandy Slavin.
We have everybody. For the minutes, we have January 25th. May I have a motion to accept?
I have not had a chance to read them. They were in the packet. They had not been forwarded to me, so you may go ahead and do what you want, but I'm not going to approve either of them.
That's fine if you want to motion to postpone. May I have a motion to postpone both January 25th and February 8th till the next meeting?
So moved.
Clerk to review.
Seconded.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. And the pending minutes are February 22nd, which are in progress. I believe that's one you were questioning. Sandy, was it not?
No, I was looking for a set of minutes from November 16th, 23, which was for the workshop. I still had not seen them. The other one we have is 2/22, which is at the last meeting. But I know we approved and I signed minutes for the 2 January meetings that are not on the town website, so that's got to be researched as to why they have not been posted.
Okay.
It could be in some of the blue packet that goes back to them, back to the sewer plant, but I signed them.
The only thing in the packet are January 25 and March 12.
No, last week's.
Yes, I
We
understand.
approved them on 2/8, so they would have gone to the packet. They would have been part of the 2/8 document. So if she can't find them to sign, call me and I have a printer out and I will come and sign the two meetings for January, if she can't find my signature.
Okay, moving on to the item 5, which is the contract policy of discussion and possible votes. The first one, 5A, is a change order number 2 from O&M, which is Charlie Lombardi. Now, I want to,
I make a motion, we accept the contract change.
Wait a minute, how much is it for?
0. Read the contract, it's in front of you.
But we don't have any paperwork other than this document.
change the
Just
end
cause
date
to the
of
original
original contract from March 31, 24 to May 31, 24. No additional compensation is requested by applicant to cover the added time of the contract. Now, we've already done this, and I want to
Absolutely.
explain that in the process between the plant and town hall, some paperwork, which is voluminous, has been misplaced, and so it recycles back again.
That's what's wrong with the headworks.
It chews up our paperwork. Well, where's the document for us to sign?
I have it.
Oh, it wasn't in the okay.
I have a motion and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote 5-0-0. Next item is the GED contract, agreement for professional services. Perform the work assigned by client with the scope of work set forth in Exhibit A. Now, this entire package was electronically emailed to everyone, I believe, as well as, hopefully it's in your packet. Contract is attached.
I don't think this most of these were, but I don't remember seeing this one in there because it got to be pretty long. Okay.
May I have a motion to accept, please?
Talk to me, what is it? I haven't had a chance to read it. What are we signing? agreement for professional services, is there a dollar amount someplace in here?
No.
No, so we're signing a contract without,
Representatives here, do you want to have her?
Sarah, can you do
Oh,
that?
the ferry's
Can you do it,
late.
please? You got a dollar amount? Come on up. You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Hello, so this is Sarah Greenberg from GHD for the record. So yes, the agreement that you have before you is a construction phase services agreement for the work of overseeing the construction, which is for the Phase 2 improvements projects for the WPCF, also referred to as the Headworks and Clarifier Project. It is a project that is so this agreement is all part of the original $36 million that was appropriated, and this contract includes specific items that are required by the SRF funding agency that are expected to be done since they're the funding agency providing the funding for the project, and it also includes a table of scope items and monetary values added to it, and so the total is the $3.4 million at the bottom there.
It's on page 18.
will you be representing the town on various boards like planning?
For any permits that need to be
Yeah.
done?
Issue of light, let's see what they're talking about, the light of, and the visibility from the nearby homes and the increased traffic flow because of this project, all the things planning talks about.
Right.
That
Yeah.
have nothing to do with clarifiers and headworks, but planning wants to do
Sure.
that.
Yeah, we have applied, put an application on behalf of the town to the planning board for a site plan review, which is the process by which they'll grant special permits, one of those being the stormwater permit as required by the town's bylaws. And so, yeah, we will be at the hearing that is March 25th to hopefully get a favorable motion to move forward, but we'll be there to represent, happily answer any questions about that application and any of the work. Yes,
Okay, thank you.
yes. And so, yeah, and I'll also just note that the legalese that's in this contract is the same and similar to previous contracts that have been pre-negotiated with the town. So similar language that you would have seen for this last construction project for the denitrification filters and equalization basin construction phase services that is the construction of which is completing now, so.
Any other questions, comments?
Make a motion, we accept the contract?
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote. Next item on the agenda, 5C, is resend the action for a special town meeting, Article 14 of April 24, in reference to Article 17 on ATM, April 25th. This was originally appropriated prior to and when we were going to do grinder pumps down in the Swift Speech area. Then it was rewritten so that it was not grinder pumps, but we were funding it out of retained earnings. The project has been complete. Other funds were used. I believe it was the ARPA funds. So the $2 million is sitting there encumbered on that article. We do not need to go back to town meeting to have it rescinded. It's a vote.
I disagree.
The town accountant has verified it.
Read it. Rescind that section S14. Doesn't say-
Special town meeting, section, Article 14.
Uh-huh. All right. We already rescinded it under another article from April 23.
We may very well have done so, but as I say,
But
there's
that
repeat.
whole article talks about $6 million.
It is specifically referring to the article, which was 17, I believe, no, 14, because it was a special, went into Article 17 because we changed the intention of it, lacking the grinder
All right.
pumps.
And we passed 4 and kept 2 on the other one.
The idea is that we weren't going to do the work past Smith, onto Smith Street Pump Station. That section was not going to be done, therefore we are rescinding it. Are you going to do an article for this?
Why?
I don't think we need an article. You're just asking us to, even though we've approved this twice already in the last 2 months, you're bringing it up again.
I'm bringing it up again because they've asked for the documentation again. And we weren't able to find the original document that
We
we
never
signed.
signed anything before, it was just part of our minutes.
Well, we-
Okay, so we now have okay, as
Yeah,
long
well-
as it's clear that it's only the Smith Street component of this article, special town meeting article.
all the notes I received referred to that specific part of the article. And you have the copy of
Yeah.
it, of all the articles relevant to this. And there's notes from the accounting office with instructions.
I make a motion, we accept this.
May I have a second, please?
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? Again, it is only a specific part of the original article, as you have the examples of.
Not the original article, the supplemental article.
Supplemental, thank you, Sandy.
The original was a separate one for 17 for
Yep.
Smith Street.
And
Okay, so I vote yay.
I've gone through this with town accountant, and it does not need to go back to town meeting because it wasn't a borrowing article. And functionality is that this, after we've changed this, they're no longer encumbered and goes back to retained earnings. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? To vote? Next is 5D. This again is a repeat because it originally, let's see, the name was the Beta Engineering. Beta did not do the work, but then Bernice and Sons did the work and had the contract. We originally signed it in December, but this is a name correction.
It doesn't say that.
It's a name correction for what we are approving.
It doesn't say that. How much do we originally approve? Because there's no dollar amount on here.
I didn't have a dollar amount, Sandy. I take the information that is given to me.
So we're going to approve a Phase 2
Approving a
agreement.
change of name.
I want that document
Phase
to
2.
say that. It's a name change only. Because we approved it under another name, correct?
Yes, we approved it under Beta.
I make a motion, we postpone this for the next meeting.
We have a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor of postponing?
Aye.
Aye.
Yeah, I want to see something that says it's a name change.
Okay. Next one, 5E.
Oh, in the packet, there's a document under Beta Group for $3.3 million for Wonkinko repair. Is that related? In the packet.
It's a copy of the old one we signed. Is that it?
Yeah, but this, yeah. That's a Beta Group that we approved for Wonkinko repair.
And as I said, it was just a name change
I know, but
that they
this
were
is,
looking for.
it doesn't mean,
And you didn't have
Sorry.
sufficient information, so you asked that
yes,
it be
because there's
postponed.
nothing in this document that says this is this contract for $3.3 million. There's no relationship, okay? Next time I won't come after a red eye.
You know, I work with the information that I've been given, and I try to make sure it's complete. Next one is the Beta Group Agreement for Professional Services, 5E. This is exclusively to add the phrase Phase 2. So they can apply the proper charges to Phase 2.
Did we jump out of line on our packet?
I would rather we stay in line.
Well, no, the next document in our packet, discontinue consulting contract with OSD, that was our next document.
The next one on my agenda,
I said packet.
I didn't put the packets together, Sandy.
No,
So I go looking for Beta Group reference Phase 2, emergency
Yes.
repairs to Wonkinko.
Yes.
Well, how much is that?
Do you want to postpone, Sandy? Sandy, I get the information, please. I sit up for a number of hours trying to put this together. I try to present the work information. All Patty has asked for is to go to Phase 2. That's all she's asked me to do, is change it to specific Phase 2 versus Phase 1.
I guess I'm very reluctant to sign something that I don't know what it's gonna cost the town.
Then postpone it.
I make a motion, we postpone the Beta Group reference Phase 2 until we have some more information regarding cost.
second.
Motion is made and seconded to postpone. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Next one, 5F. The director has asked for funds to replace the roof of the Narrows Pump Station.
Will $25,000 do it?
Yes.
I brought this up to capital planning today because it was not on our capital list. And now that I see a dollar amount, since it's under $50,000, it is not considered a capital expenditure.
Sandy, do you have the rest of this? The detail?
That little building,
I have a, yeah, from,
Look at me.
we're putting on slate,
No, that-
25,000 for that little building?
The quote that we've received is much less than 25,000.
Yeah, the detail.
Under 12,000.
it's,
Okay.
yeah, your request is less than 25 and would come off as off your expense budget, your repair and maintenance budget.
Yes.
So you're getting it from Skip Sharpa?
He gave us a good quote.
There's certain levels that you have to go through depending upon the value. That's why I specifically said less than 25, although the quote was 12, I believe. Now, you're
So
not,
what are we approving here? Just approving that you can go ahead and get bids?
yes, 'cause that's essentially what's gonna happen.
He's got the bid.
I have one bid.
No, he has only one.
Bid you need more?
I believe 25 is, he still has to
He's
get.
got a bill for $12,642, but he still has to have 2 more, I believe. Is that right,
Yeah.
Scott? Yeah,
What if you don't get 2 more?
then you take the lowest one you got.
But do we as commissioners normally approve repair and maintenance
No.
cost?
No,
This should be under his budget already.
So
Just
to
go
me,
ahead and
there's
do
no
it.
vote needed from us.
Doesn't need anything
And
from
that's-
us.
My chair shrunk. I feel
how's
like
your
I'm
budget doing? Operational?
Sadly, I couldn't tell you because I don't have been getting the tallies.
They don't give you a running or monthly?
I haven't had one since November.
You don't know how
I
much
used
you
to
got
get
left.
one every week. I know where we were at, and I've been basing it on that. And I know that our third-party expenses have gone down.
But your bottom line, they don't, well, I mean, there's a whole list of line items
Yeah,
in your operational budget. And you don't get any monthly on that?
it was,
I honestly don't think we need to,
Well, we're not appropriating monies, we're authorizing
We don't even have to.
in
do
good
that.
faith to let them go
but
forward
we
with it.
don't, do we authorize
No, we
repair
don't.
and maintenance?
Oh, we don't have
We're
to
not
do that.
authorizing anything.
Yeah, but you got it. Okay,
Cost is less than
so
operating fund.
We're not
May
gonna-
also use operating funds to expedite.
It
so
doesn't
we're not
even
gonna
need
So
sign
it's-
this.
It's information only.
Yeah,
So,
Okay.
doesn't even need to be here.
But I was surprised when we got a contract document for our signatures on it.
Yeah.
That was surprising me.
We always
I
get the
understand, Sandy,
contracts
yeah.
for our signature.
It's formalized, and it really shouldn't have been.
Thank you.
Next item is 5G.
This goes back to the one that Sandy was talking about before, the OSD contract.
Yes.
It was out of sync in the packet.
We are giving our collective opinion to the town administrator, who signs all contracts and has the power over them to discontinue our consulting contract
I make a
with
motion, we
OSD.
discontinue.
Say again?
I make a motion, we discontinue this contract altogether with OSD.
Motion is made to approve, I presume, then?
Yes, I'm sorry, I phrased it improperly. Excuse me.
May I have a second?
Say what the what are your motions?
I agree with what he's got right there. We're gonna cancel their contract.
We don't have the authority to do that. We have to advise the town administrator to do so, and that's essentially what the commission is doing.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
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 I don't see where you say this is discontinued.
First line. You gotta do the wrong thing. here.
Which one are we on? On this one?
We're on the one
Oh, that one, all right.
Jimmy, alone, share your glasses with him.
Oh, that's true. That's what he needs.
Why are we discontinuing?
Didn't you listen to him?
No?
When he was asking, we were asking him questions, he couldn't answer them?
Who?
OSD, Sean.
We found that OSD, along with their consultant, was advocating a method of correcting the problems that we found for the Narrows pipeline was inappropriate for the solution that we wanted long-term.
The Primers line didn't have a structural integrity, and that's what they were promoting.
Oh, yeah.
We certainly got the impression
When
that
did
they
we
were
do this?
advocating a particular brand versus a solution.
Right.
So where do we stand on that project then?
Gotta go out, rebid it.
Go out to rebid if we, well, 'cause we're canceling this, going to cancel or advise canceling this contract, we'll have to go out to rebid.
Why aren't we canceling the $6 million article that was approved for this project?
We haven't canceled the project, we're canceling this particular contract.
If
The
I listened,
contract is all we're canceling at the moment.
if I listened at the last meeting, the idea is that we're gonna run a brand-new pipe down to the plant, keeping the old one available for discharge. That's certainly more than $6 million.
Do you
Well,
know
you're
that
going
for
way-
sure?
You're going,
Who's giving you that bid?
No one.
Well, then let's
It's hard
get
to
the bid
believe
first.
that
We'll
digging
get the
a
bid.
hole is cheaper than
We'll get
lining
the
a pipe.
bid, and then we'll look at what we need to do there for money. You're gonna know where you're going with it. We'll have to find
So
out what
there
it's
is a
gonna cost.
formal document been
We need to
prepared.
set out an RFP to
Okay.
do this.
So to do an RFP.
We need to
Sorry.
get rid of this one first, and then we go forward.
So are we canceling the 6 million we got?
No, we're not
No, we're
canceling the
canceling
6,
the
no,
contract.
we still have the 6 million available
from that contract, we hired OSD to advise us,
as a
And-
consultant.
again, consultant Sean.
And they're writing the RFP?
They would have, they did, period.
No,
And
the new guy.
we don't have a new guy.
You just said we're going to go out with an
We
RFP.
will have to go out with an
So there has
RFP.
to
We
be one
don't
to-
have a new guy at the
Okay,
moment,
so we
anybody to write it at the moment.
Don't have one available.
Would
We're
you say,
talking
Scott?
about, right now, we're talking about ending the
I
contract
understand that.
with OSD. That's what's on the table. That's the discussion. That's what we're looking to be voted on.
If I might, I
Yes,
actually
go right ahead.
I
Yes,
think the actual thing you're supposed to be voting on is what's written there. That you're discontinuing the Narrows Pump Station rehabilitation project, the pipeline, the forest main. You're not, the idea wasn't to discontinue the use of the engineer.
yes, OSD,
This-
yes.
But the, yeah, the principle was to end that project so that Derek could then take this vote and sign off on the letter to officially say, no, we're not gonna award it.
So we're pulling back the RFP that was issued.
Correct.
That's another way of putting it. We
Yeah,
put it out
that
for
makes more
bid.
sense.
We're going to make a recommendation that that RFP be pulled back?
Right.
Yes, and then a new
And
one
vo-
put out to do a different,
Okay, so that's what we're doing. is
that's what
that-
you're supposed to do.
That's, you're right. That's, I phrased it properly, that's all.
And I hadn't actually heard of canceling anything with OSD, because I thought the idea would be they'd turn around and put the RFP
We were
out.
just trying to, it's kind of new, we're trying to find the appropriate wording without being direct, but in an indirect manner saying the same thing.
Okay, but I think in particular, we need to pull back the RFP.
Yeah,
Right.
this is,
Just so that Derek can send out the letter saying that we're not going to
Yeah.
award
Okay.
that.
so it says,
Derek,
You're right. You're absolutely right.
advise
I don't know sure how
discontinuation of
directly,
consulting
but Derek was
contract.
aware we are doing this.
Yes, he's waiting for the vote, so then
So-
he can send the letter out.
This,
Indeed, he didn't contribute any language, unfortunately.
so this, the contract
I
that
would-
we, is, to me, worded wrong, considering what I just heard. Discontinuing the consulting contract with OSD, Engineering Consultants, providing review of pump station main rehabilitation project. We're discontinuing the RFP that was issued by OSD, if I understand.
Jimmy, you wrote this.
Now, with this-
Jimmy and I worked on this together, trying to get the
we're dis-
wording.
discontinuing the services of OSD relative to the contract.
Right now, there's a contractor waiting for a letter from Derek to say it's not being awarded.
Right, we're not
With
gonna,
a low bidder.
Or contract to whom?
GVC was the low bidder on the contract when the RFP went out.
We haven't met with GVC.
Agreed. However,
We've only met with OSD, so our opinion is of OSD, we were ill-served by what they presented. It's not of the person or a statement as to whom may have bid on it and won the bid. It's OSD that we want to terminate services with.
No,
we have
because
no
we want them
contract.
to come up with a new RFP.
We don't want to work with OSD,
Oh, we don't?
no. Jimmy and I were meeting, Jimmy and Bob were in a meeting with OSD,
The problem that we had,
consensus.
the problem that we had with OSD is that he was going very strongly supporting this thing when he was being told directly that the information he was providing was incorrect because the information that was being provided to him was getting taken right off of the sheets that Primus supplied on their own product, indicating it was not structurally sound, and he insisted it was. So what I was saying is that we were being misinformed
So we
what the
are,
product was, so we don't want to continue.
we are terminating our relationship
Our
with
services.
OSD regarding the Narrows Pump Station.
Right.
Then who will do our new RFP?
Peter.
Okay,
Decline.
Okay.
so this is
How
correct
much
to
have we
say.
paid OSD?
No idea.
Don't know off the top of my head.
No idea.
Can we recover it?
Recover what?
Whatever we
Probably.
paid them.
Probably not, because they've done an RFP.
It was the same
Well,
issue with,
If they've done an RFP and misled us, isn't that fraud?
please don't get in that.
Dead serious.
Please don't. It wasn't necessarily fraud. They were presenting a point of view.
So this is
Well,
to
not-
discontinue our
Didn't
consultant with
sound that way the
OSD.
way Mr. Gibberti just explained it.
It's an interpretation. I was there with the one meeting, Bob was there with another, and from my point of view, with what I Googled in terms of what the statements they were making, they were, I would say, erroneous.
They may have been misinformed, I don't know, but that's neither here nor there. It's not a relationship we necessarily want to continue, that's all.
Well, I totally agree with that. It's just that if we were being fed bad information, regardless of the reason,
Well,
then they weren't performing up to what they claimed to be.
They were advocating a solution to the problem that we felt was inappropriate,
For this situation.
and they wouldn't move off. They weren't open to suggestions, and we'd had,
What are we basing
along
that
with
on?
us, friends of Wareham.
What are
who
we
were
basing
advising
that
us.
on?
What we heard. What we discussed and what
What
we
was
researched.
They said, do it this way.
what was provided in the brochures and the technical specs
Where'd you get them?
from Primus.
And we also had friends of Wareham who were knowledgeable in the business advising us.
Part of this, haven't we also changed considering changing the whole scope of this project? We're no longer going with putting a liner inside of the force main.
No, we're not doing either. We're not doing that, and we are doing that. You're getting into details that are not in this document, and what we're doing is saying that what they recommended, we felt was inappropriate for the situation.
Okay, and that was
And-
lining the pipes that exist,
Brand, whatever it is,
whatever they were
product.
lining it with.
The product
It's not
was,
what we-
the product
we
was
don't-
inappropriate for the situation.
I would say the solution.
Yeah.
But you're saying with a product, you're getting specific. Please do not.
Okay. So we're changing our mind on how we're going to take care of our force main.
Yeah.
Is that a good way of saying it? We've rethought the project and I think we have another solution, and it's not what we had originally RFP'd for.
We felt the solution offered was not the correct one for the situation. It was like the solution they offered for Swift Beach was not the correct one for the
Okay.
situation.
So we are going to discontinue consulting contract with OSD regarding the force main rehabilitation project.
Correct.
That is what's on the table.
Yes.
And for the record, I wasn't in a meeting with OSD, but I was in a meeting that discussed the
Yes,
fallout.
excuse me, but
Yeah.
So you want to weigh in on yours?
So OSD,
Yeah, well,
OSD's solution isn't the solution we want.
no.
What are we basing that on?
It isn't the solution that we felt that would correct the problem.
What are we basing that on?
the technical
In fact, it was
aspects of it.
intelligent people. And the way they presented it, they, when we disagreed, they were not able to offer an alternative. They were very specific in their solution, and they were locked into it, so to speak.
It's an overseas product, correct?
Yes, it was
Yes, and
Germany, I think?
it was checked out with people in Germany that had used the product. We've basically got references on past experiences with the product, and they advised us, no,
We need,
not what you're looking for.
we need something that
No
had,
structural,
that had structural,
Integrity.
external integrity,
it had internal
It has-
integrity as long as there was pressure in the pipe.
right? It
As
has,
soon as, if the pipe that it was lining broke and sand or whatever crushed, would be able to crush the pipe, the liner down without it being able to bounce back. And that's the experience of people in Germany that had used the product, and they ran into that problem and said, for your project, you
You get
definitely don't want this."
documentation on that?
I don't.
I mean, I have no problem discontinuing it. I don't like these solutions that have come up at a coffee table.
Oh, this is no coffee table, I assure you. We have lengthy discussions regarding it. The people we consulted had qualifications of
So
it.
we have documentation.
I won't say no, but I'll charge you with researching for the documentation, because I'm kind of booked up.
If you're gonna charge me with it, I'm gonna ask you to table this.
Forgive me for being sarcastic. Peter,
I don't take it as being sarcastic. I get your point.
yeah. In those meetings,
What meeting?
in the meeting, I had one
that's with
meeting,
Derek.
then there was another one, and both with Derek.
Well,
And
Derek has no background in structural integrity of a
that's
lining.
why the word is to advise, because he's depending upon us to have some knowledge. And, Peter, excuse me, it wasn't just the three of us here, which obviously we just go out and flushed. That's our skill set. We consulted with other people who had credibility verbally,
Well,
had the experience, yes.
we have
I was just
documentation.
looking for
Well,
documentation
you,
of that.
documentation, I'm looking for, I see it as paper. I
Well,
have people who are skilled in this and have credibility.
There is documentation, we do have documentation, and that's on the structural integrity of the primus lining, which is what would,
If we can find that report,
Yeah,
we even
which is
have,
simple. That's-
Maybe the right term would
that's
be
in their stuff.
elaboration, I think.
All right,
if you want to, if you want, or if you're more comfortable
no, I make
further,
a,
we can go back to rewording. of
I
course.
make a motion that we advise the town administrator to discontinue consulting contract with OSD Engineering Consultants regarding the Narrows Pump Station Force Main Rehabilitation Project.
second.
Motion is made second. Any further discussion?
Well,
Peter, you want something?
I think you better look at the contract to make sure that we're not opening ourselves up for a back charge.
All we can do is advise. It would be Mr. Sullivan's decision.
Now, we've
Oh.
had the back charge before. We've experienced that with
Well,
Pierre.
that's exactly my point. That's why I'm asking for documentation. I mean, you've got to be able to back up the decision. If this person says, hey, we've done all of this work, we're entitled to X amount.
I believe there's a function, there's a part of the contract which gives us the option to doing so, canceling the contract.
Well, that's why I say, where's the contract? You know, I mean,
This contract went through the commissioners before I got here. It's not, this is not recent. So I don't have a copy of it. You would have one.
I don't think we ever saw a contract we saw the contract from OSD to go ahead and find a contractor to do the work. I don't think it ever went any further than that.
Well, if they went out to bid, they found a contractor, but now the contractor
I don't know if they did.
obviously was using the
They
the
had
product
two
that they
quotes.
recommended.
They came back with two quotes. on this project.
That was the Chinese firm and the,
That's how they went through 2 cycles of this, didn't they? Because the
Yes.
first
The
one
first cycle, we didn't have enough money, then we got the 6 million, we went out for the second RFP, and that's the 2 quotes, and
Yes.
we're abandoning that project because it's not appropriate for what we need, now that we understand the condition of the pipes from point A to point B. We were under the impression that the pipes were much more degraded than they currently are. And therefore, it changed our scope of resolution, our scope of repair.
Just to take what you said, the only actual physical data that we have on the condition of the pipe is 5 to 5.5 years old. It was done that long ago.
I
Just want to qualify
thought
that.
somebody had taken a look at it recently to say that it wasn't in the shape that we thought it was,
I don't recall anything.
which is
Scott,
why
do you
they came
recall
back
anything?
with a new
No.
plan to put in a brand-new pipe.
No,
And use the
again,
old pipe.
the change was a result of these conversations. And the manufacturer's own specifications indicating that without pressure inside the line did not have the integrity, the liner didn't have the integrity necessary to go under the road.
Take the traffic,
So,
weight of the traffic.
in the event that the outside line collapsed, there was a potential, not
Yep.
a strong potential, but a potential that that liner could collapse. So the pivot was to now go
Yep.
and put the
Look
separate.
for another alternative as opposed to looking for a lining.
Correct.
Again, my motion is to advise Mr. Sullivan to discontinue the contract for this project.
May I have a second?
Second?
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye. Sandy?
Aye.
Aye. You made the motion, that's good.
It's just an advice for Mr. Sullivan.
So where do we stand now? We're back to square one?
Not completely, and that's why I was, we have plans. So now it's literally just a matter of pivoting and determining to go out to bid to do X section of pipe along the roadway, and then engineer a new pathway underneath the railroad to the plant, under the river, under the railroad, with a new pipe.
So rather than reline the old pipe, we're gonna run a whole new line?
Yeah.
That's one option.
Leaving the old line there.
That's gonna require us going back to town meeting, because that's gonna be a lot more than $6 million.
I said that, and Jimmy says, who did I get that quote from?
He doesn't even pay an
So
EDU,
during
what's
this
he care?
conversation, the
Not quite.
low bidder provided a quote to do a new line, brand new line. And the quote was over 6, but not substantially. And it included going under the railroad. with
How
all
much
that.
did we get when we went to town meeting? I think we got more than 6.
No, six.
Six.
Six for the Narrows project.
Did that
And
also,
You sure about that?
It's Scott, what Scott had just mentioned,
Sorry.
he had bid, but he also gave us the information, but it wasn't part of his bid, I don't believe.
Right,
I recall, Sandy, we went the first time for 5 and
3.
didn't have enough.
Three.
3?
Yep.
3, then we reversed it and went for 6.
Oh, when we went for 6 because we figured for 5. Okay, I got it. I remember now. All right.
We didn't have so we
Scott,
had,
is the idea with the new pipe to go to a larger capacity?
yes. So
So
we're
that
gonna
would-
also put a bigger pipe in.
A bigger pipe, yes.
Go
Yeah, with
24 all
the
the way.
plan for expansion.
Right. We're trying to plan ahead here,
Mm-hmm.
These are signatures, Andy.
make the right move, and leave ourselves options. So,
Are you gonna keep the old pipe? You're gonna
yeah,
Keep the old one,
the idea would be to keep it,
just in case.
and then potentially
just patch it?
rehabilitate that down the road if necessary. So that's where we're at.
So who's the engineering firm that's gonna do this now?
That's currently up in the air. So that's why I was confused about the discontinuing with OSD because they've already done all of the survey work and all of the plans. So the idea would be to flip around and put this back out to bid to the next month. And that the next section would be the section where it comes,
So who's putting it out for bid?
we don't have anyone now.
Okay, moving on. Next one on the end, 5H.
If we don't know who's putting it out for bid, then we really don't know how we're gonna do it yet then.
Correct.
As far as lining the pipe or taking care of it?
No, as far as the project is concerned, completely. I mean, we need a new pipe from the house to the plant.
The solution is, the final solution will be determined when or if a new consulting company advises us. And yes, we probably would have to go back. Inflation will eat that up.
So
there was- with
the route
the
could change as
actual-
well.
With the 6 million appropriated, the actual cost that was proposed would not allow us to go forward because with the contingency fee added in, we were bumping against 6 mil and there was no wiggle room after that. So I think we would have had to go back to town meeting anyway. Okay, 5H, change order number 1, add 2 years to an existing contract for Tow and Weston and Sampson for weekly pump station inspections and on-call emergency services with an additional appropriation of $150,000 to cover additional 2 years.
Do you have any paperwork on it?
Yes, it's attached.
In the folder?
Should have. I want you everyone to know, I give all this stuff out electronically. And I pass it on to each of you.
Yeah.
And all the documents are in I scan everything. Unless
Does
it's got
anybody
over 100
find one?
pages. Beg your pardon?
Does anybody find one?
I don't have 5H on my agenda.
You don't have the
I think
agenda.
you've got the old agenda then,
You got the
You
old
don't have the
agenda.
amended,
Okay.
Andy?
not in here. Next thing I have is this Beta Group Amendment 1,
That's what I have.
which talks about Phase 2.
Does anyone have the change order number 1, add 2 years?
No, it's not in our packets. Does anybody, I'm not finding it, am I missing it? Is it in your packet?
It is in mine, I have.
The packet you got from the office? No.
I couldn't tell you because I confirmed that I had everything based on what I had.
All right, talk to us with it. So it's a Weston and Sampson pump inspection contract?
It's a weekly pumping station inspection and on-call emergency, contract 22-1FB, -0602, originally signed in June 9th of 2022.
So it's just an extension of the
It's just an
existing?
extension.
Existing
Okay.
contract, yes, it is.
That's all it is an extension of the existing contract. So, I make a motion, we accept it.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion?
Extension to what date?
2 years
2 years, and it's a 3-year
From where?
from the end of this one.
What's the, do you have a date
duration.
there?
It's a 3-year contract, I believe,
Do you have a start in,
and it's want to add 2, so it's 325. They're going to add 24, excuse me. So they're adding 2 years to the existing.
so the date is in 26? Do you have a month?
Over 3 years from 22, so we're at 22, 23, 24. so it ends June 9th.
This year?
So it ends June 9th, 24, and they want to do plus 2 years. So June 9th, 26.
Mm-hmm.
You have a motion and a second on the floor.
Beg your pardon?
You have a motion and a second on the floor.
Thank you, yes. I was looking to see if there was any words in it. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? So vote, thank you.
Now, we had earlier, number C, Beta Group Reference Phase 2. The next document I have here is Sewer Main Repairs Phase 2 for the Beta Group. Could it be the same document that we're looking at under letter E?
Which one are you referring to?
You have a 5E, Beta Group referencing Phase 2.
Yes,
I have a document here that says Beta Group Amendment 1, Emergency Repairs to Wonkinko, and in the attachment, it talks about Repairs Phase 2. Is it the same thing as what you covered in letter E?
yes, and we got a date on that one. Yes, it is, because it's, all it is adding the Phase 2. Because in the original one, that was the February.
So is this the extension of Wonkinko down to Murphy? Is that Phase 2?
I'm not familiar with the
Yes, I believe it is.
restrictions of the parameters.
Well, to me, Wonkinko was done in 2 phases.
Correct.
Yes,
One was up to the first street, and then the other one's from that street down to Murphy. So this, do you think this is Phase 2,
I think
that
that's, yes, I
extension
think
down
that's
to
from,
Murphy?
I think that's Bayview to Murphy.
yeah, there was 2
And that's-
sections of it,
And that's being funded by not the town of Wareham,
ARPA funds.
some other funds,
Correct, and that's why it has to be labeled Phase 2.
Okay.
Patty said that
So,
they have to have something to distinguish.
okay, so if we go back to the contract under 5E, Beta Group,
Mm-hmm.
I think we now have our solution.
You may.
I think we now have our documents to support it.
Okay,
That's me. I don't know. Anybody else find a
I agree.
relationship between the documents?
when I do this, I scan it all in the order that I have it in my packet, and then I pass it on.
Yes, I think you're correct, Sandy.
So if that's the case, I'd like to reconsider 5E.
I have a motion to reconsider.
Seconded.
Motion is made and seconded. Any other discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye to reconsider.
Aye.
Okay, 5E is back on the table.
Because it now has, this document has the design cost of $144,000.
I have a motion to approve.
I make a motion, we approve the Beta Group, Inc. Agreement for Professional Services Emergency Repairs to Wonkinko Sewer Main Phase 2.
You have a second, please?
Second it.
Motion's made and seconded. Any discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? To vote?
Aye.
The next one, 6A.
Before we go on to that, I have notes from last meeting that CLW number 2 time extension and a West number 24 time extension were to be the vote of 500 was to be ratified at this meeting, and I don't see it on the agenda.
What- Say that again, Sandy, please.
There was a CLW number 2 time extension we approved last meeting, Was not on the
Lombardi's
agenda.
extension.
and the Wesson and Sampson number 24 time extension 500 is not on the agenda, and we were supposed to ratify those votes, and I don't see them on the agenda.
You did a fresh vote at 5A. 5A, you put it all the way back on the table and voted on it.
But we couldn't,
Change order number 2.
sorry?
Isn't that the change order number 2 that we just voted on
Yeah.
for Charlie?
You took a fresh vote on it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so it should have said ratify the, okay, so that's that ratifying the vote. And the Wesson and Sampson number 24, was that what we just did for the time extension? No, yeah, for the time extension.
That was Beta, wasn't it?
No, it says Wesson
Leave it,
Sampson,
talk to
time
us.
Same thing,
extension.
that was
She
the
gets
time
more
extension for
complicated.
them to be able to get paid.
And we just
You
did
just
that.
did that too.
Okay, so it was A and H. Okay, and the next one, now we can go on to the special spring article for 400,000. We need to ratify that vote.
yes, it's 6A, and the ratification, it came up because we wanted to get on the warrant, and so it was less than 24 hours, or 48 hours, and we voted on it, but it requires ratification.
I make a motion, we ratify this article.
May I have a second, please?
Second,
What article are we ratifying?
400,000.
Okay, fine, second, third, whatever.
Motion is made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? It's a vote. Thank you. Also, I had gotten notification that we needed to approve this, and it was in between meetings, and they wanted it done as quickly, and so I had asked three of us went down to the plant. However, it was inappropriate, so I wanted to do a legitimate ratification.
I make a motion, we
No, it
ratify
can't be
this.
ratified because we never voted on it.
Now, 3 people have signed it,
No one voted on it.
correct?
That's, I sent you an email saying you can't use the word ratification in your article because we never voted, so this can't be a ratification.
What would you
That's why I
suggest?
sent you
I
an
thought that
email
was
on it.
a rat
I'm
movie.
sorry, Sandy.
I mean, I'm sitting here saying, frankly, I didn't see it in the blue folder. I was able to muster 3, including my own, reasonably warm bodies, and they adequate to satisfy the immediate need. So we have 3 sewer commissioners signing a document approving second-half commitment for FY24 sewer user fees, over $3 million, never voted on by the sewer commissioners, and 3 of them signed it and sent it off to town hall. That really, I couldn't believe that 3 people signed a document that was not voted on by this full board.
Well, considering all the errors that we've gone through this evening,
Gee, I signed it twice.
if you choose to, I will step aside and someone else can do all this paperwork. It gets confusing for me. I spent hours and hours with meetings and trying to get the paperwork.
Totally understand it,
And if I
but
feel I embarrass you, I apologize.
it's,
And if you would choose to change,
no, hard to believe that 3 people signed a document as sewer commissioners without a vote of the sewer commissioners. I was surprised like hell that this happened. Yeah, Peter, you and Jimmy signed this and it hadn't been voted
I
on.
know that.
That's correct.
You didn't know it was not voted on?
I thought it was voted on.
No, we couldn't find the paperwork, therefore we didn't take it up. So we didn't vote on it.
so what would you like to do?
Is that the way you remember it?
So we can vote on it right now.
Unfortunately, that's not what your agenda says.
It says possible vote.
No,
And I saw ratification, that's fine.
It is worded wrong, because it implies there was a vote taken and there was not. In my typing of it,
So what would the remedy be? To put it, make a motion to put it on the next agenda
it would
for a
have to go
vote?
on the next agenda, because there's no, wait a minute,
Submission of it, I
attached
guess,
document?
by Foster's office. Ms. Foster was.
There is an attached document with the dollar amount.
Yeah,
We were down
well,
with that one, was
exactly.
But I thought we had voted on it at the
Nope.
meeting.
I remember we had the
Okay, so-
discussion.
It was the last thing on the, it was, we can't find, it was on the agenda, but we couldn't find, Bernie couldn't find the paperwork, so we said we wouldn't do anything.
Okay, so I make a motion at the next meeting to go
Is
over
there a,
it
ti-
and then...
is there a time frame for
Oh.
having this done?
I think that was the reason why we had to get it done. There was a time frame we were fighting.
That's what they had advised me.
But,
If you feel more comfortable
so what minutes
postponing it
would
to
it
next
show?
meeting, they will have to accommodate it.
The minutes we don't have yet. We did not vote on this at the last
It's never
meeting.
been voted at a meeting. I was advised that they wanted it expedited or needed it right away, because they called me
So
specifically.
he
to
called
come
the
in and
two of
do
you to
something.
come in and sign the document as sewer commissioners without a sewer commission vote, which I'm still, you can hear my voice, I'm still very unhappy that this happened. But I would make a recommendation that we call the ratification vote as a Scribner error, and it should be vote on the agenda.
Second.
I think that's just compounding it.
Not- It's a vote.
How would you phrase it then, just for the record?
Discussion and vote for second half sewer commitment for $3,361,054.02.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Motion's made and second. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It's a vote.
So you have a document that no one signed yet, right?
Correct, right there.
Okay, you want to send it down that way?
Oh, yes, sir. 6C, we have a request for a connection. The engineer is Schneider and Divagan, I can't pronounce that. But the, came in February 21st, and they're looking for, let's see, a two-story, two-bedroom, single-family dwelling, approximately 744 square feet, at Oak Hill Road. Connect to the sewer main and Oak Hill Road.
This was in the last month's last meeting document that showed the plan and everything, and was unclear as to size of the house that they were asking for. This clarifies that, saying it's a two-bedroom, single-family. I've seen it. It's,
Anyone want the
Did you
plan?
see what that space looked like at the high tide the other day?
yeah. Well, I was not
but
here
they
for
got
the
a curb
king,
cut.
I was not here for
Got
the
a
king
curb cut.
tide. I'm sure it flooded.
There.
I'm sure it flooded.
I didn't look at that.
That's got a curb cut.
That has a curb cut off of
There's a
Narrows,
guardrail right all around
but there's no
it.
sewer
No.
there.
Excuse me?
There's no sewer
Oh,
there.
I don't doubt that, but I was surprised.
They're
I mean,
close enough to the water.
everything else we've seen about it, I was surprised that there was a sewer cut, I mean, a street, a driveway access. Because it's almost like access to drive onto the wetlands.
They have come back with a brand-new plan, and they're outside of the 30-foot no-work zone. So they have moved the structure back away from both the stream to the pond on the other side of Narrows and the Wareham River. They have moved the structure back. It's going to
When
be
you
up,
say back,
What's
Further
that?
away from the water, their plan that you have
So
here.
they're coming closer to the street?
Yes,
Say it that way, please.
okay, they're coming closer to the street.
Jesus.
They're going to be on some pylons that their first and second floor will be higher than the Narrows Road.
Yes,
Of course they
because the
will.
one we see in
They'll
most
have to be
towns-
18 feet above flood level.
22, but that's, yeah, they're up there. They've got to be way up there.
That would be the top of the pilings.
They're gonna get
that they have down
nosebleeds
in
going
the
into the bedroom.
Are they going to be allowed to build that high?
Oh, yeah, you can go up 40 feet,
I thought there was a height limit.
40 feet.
Not in conservation, some other board might have to look at that, but conservation has been discussing it. They've cut back on the size of their parking area.
40 feet is your building height in town.
Well, if you're starting out at 20,
So you only got 20 feet to go. That's 2 floors.
no, well, that's exactly what you got then.
And the piling height is the,
But see,
similar to what Onset Pier.
Yeah.
when they say proposed curb cut, if you go by there, that's already there.
I understand the king tide was quite high. We were seeing pictures of the swamps towns in Wareham, in Massachusetts and New Hampshire, all the way in Las Vegas, about how it flooded at king tide. Is it Hampton?
How many gallons did you get at that time?
We're still dealing with it. So,
Coming in
You gotta be.
from sump pumps?
we have indeed located sump pumps.
Well, how many gallons are we looking, how many gallons are they looking for this this location?
I don't know.
2 bedrooms, 220 gallons.
440 gallons.
200, it's 2 bedrooms though, right?
That's at 110 per bedroom, 220. Right, sorry.
So that it will go down, they will dig a hole, a trench down Narrows Road, pick up
That's
the
not us.
Nolans
Yeah, that's,
and take it down to Oak Hill.
yeah.
So that, right now Nolans, I believe, is connected to the force main. They'll disconnect that.
There's 3 houses currently connected to the 16-inch diameter force main would be disconnected and from the municipal sewer and connected to the proposed 2-inch force main. Interesting.
I don't think there's a 2-inch force main. 2 inches won't, no, do
It's
we
low
have any?
pre-
We
No,
don't
it's
have
low
any.
Yeah, it's a
pressure.
low
They're gonna put
pressure.
their own service in, low pressure. So it's just the E1s. That's how they do it. They hook multiple people up to those 2 inches.
Oh, they even put Nolan's name in there. Huh. Okay.
I would entertain a motion to put this on hold until we resolve the issue with the moratorium.
Second,
No,
What do you want?
what, on hold? We've got others that we put on list as to a pending. Why would we not put this on our pending list?
Oh, could be pending. I was just did
Yeah.
use the
So,
word, that's all.
the last thing we had was 2 East Boulevard for 240 gallons. We did on 224. So I make a motion that we list 220 gallons for 15 Narrows Road and put it on our pending list.
I thought we did that.
We didn't do this one because we didn't know how many bedrooms. At the last meeting, we didn't know
Okay,
the
all right.
size of it, of the
Okay.
request.
Okay.
and we didn't know if there were gonna
Seconded.
be pontoons on the building.
Motion's made and seconded.
Pontoons, they won't need us.
True.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So vote. The next one is 6D. Christiana spoke to the applicant, and they voted not to attend the meeting and withdraw at this point in time.
You know?
Where is 21 Red Brook Road?
Every time I drive by there, I look
Going
at it
down Red Brook
specifically.
Road?
Every time I drive
I
by, I
believe
look
that was
at
the
it.
principle
I know,
of
but I
not
can't
being
imagine why they're gonna
compliant.
do
They
it.
were going to
That's such a-
request it, but they
an expense.
withdrawn.
Was that the dog care place or something like that, that somebody wanted?
No,
It's on
No,
water.
that was an onset.
No, there was, somebody sent a letter in saying they wanted to connect to our force main off of Red Brook.
There is a force main on Red Brook.
Yes.
It looks like they've withdrawn.
The next one, and item 7A, the bourne sewer expansion. I've sent that over to legal to ask for Rich's opinion. It, for all intents and purposes, it of course follows along the contract. However, I felt someone would eventually ask me to just run it by legal, so I did. The 7B, excuse me, is the contractor from Fiera. Still waiting for a release statement. We haven't paid them yet. We're not involved in it, but it's over in Derek's office.
I mean, I thought we approved paying them
We did.
We did,
months and months ago.
we did.
We
So
did.
we just keep getting letters from them. The last one was March 5th.
We're gonna be on their Christmas card list next.
We're gonna be on some list.
So nothing's happened?
No, just waiting for a release statement from Rich for Derek to sign. That was my last explanation. I was before the Finance Committee last night and Friendly Group, explained to them what we were paying for in renting the blowers currently and what it cost to replace them. They were aghast. And the trucks, in the explanation, Scott, it says they've already been auctioned off. There was 3 vehicles, and I thought, getting rid of them prior to getting the new ones, you wouldn't have everybody be walking.
They were deemed unusable.
Correct,
by-
yeah.
Yeah, so they couldn't be used. They were auctioning them off, was just getting them off
Okay,
the
so they were
property.
totaled, so to
Yeah.
speak. They had asked that question. I said, why, you auctioned them off already? Don't you need them?
They also
Yeah.
asked, why
Do
don't
need
you?
them, but I wasn't gonna put people in unsafe vehicles, so we auctioned them off.
The other question is, why aren't there plows on these things? We need people to plow our streets, so why don't we put plows on these 3 trucks?
We already have multiple plows at the shop, so.
That was the question that also came up. My explanation was, we aren't the maintenance department, we're the sewer department, so to equip all our trucks, we don't need plows. It has to come out of our own budget.
And to tell you the truth, if we're in a situation where we are shoveling and plowing, we probably need our trucks to handle sewer issues, not plow streets.
We also have, well, there was a question, it was Scott handled this. Biosolids, they requiring, you had to make a report.
Yeah, the report is in progress.
How many biosolids we have?
I
How
can't,
much poop do we get rid of?
I can't recall the number of tons, but we
We stored a lot until we can find a
do
place.
almost 100 tons a week, I think.
100
No,
tons?
that's not, I'll have to look at it, I'm sorry.
A lot
We
of
do a
brown-
lot.
A lot of brown stuff.
We send 3 10,000-gallon truckloads out at least a week. Next week, we'll be doing 4. The more flow we've been getting, the more we generate.
Why would we be getting more flow?
Because it's rain.
No, because we don't have summer people here.
Oh, the rain.
We,
Rain.
Rain, but that doesn't
I
bring
will,
solids.
I will delve into that during the superintendent report, how's that? Because it's a
Keep us
lengthy
hanging.
discussion.
Yeah.
Bob and I have met with a gentleman who, representing Woods Hole, and they have coastal resilience. And I'm gonna pass the buck to Bob if he wants to give his interpretation of our conversation with,
How long is his grant good for?
Well, it was an interesting discussion. I think he was, obviously, his focus was on how the environment and coastal conditions affect our sewer operations. And being a resident of Swift's Beach, I had some degree of knowledge on that and filled him in on it. And also told him about Danny's technology that worked out well down there, and he was very, very interested in that. He wants to put together, I guess, a roundtable group to discuss this in the future and would like to have Wareham have a spot at the table, and I just think it's a new area of interest that Woods Hole is looking into. So I think we could definitely add some of our experiences to the discussion.
And, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, other than that, it was a cordial meeting.
Not very much like a meet and greet, because we
Yep.
didn't understand what he was intending to do. And Woods Hole can be a very good friend, and so we like to stay on their good side. And if we are able to benefit in any way, shape, or form, we certainly will lay the groundwork. And I just sent you a copy, or also included a copy of the memo for the two water connections that we authorized. So I notified everybody.
You skipped over the superintendent report.
Well, he had us on the edge of our chair, so we were
I
going
know I
We're
want to
saving the
hear, I
best
want to
for
hear.
last.
Oh, you ready?
Yes.
So the general report is things are continuing to go very well at the plant. However, we have been drowning for the last over a week. Between the tide and high groundwater with heavy rains, we've been taking in 1.5 million gallons a day over the last week. So that puts us at our permit limit. We are only putting through 1.4 million gallons a day, so we don't break our permit limit. We are starting to see it subside. We got our camera back last week and went back to Swiss Beach. We found a few locations that need to be addressed. They are going to be addressed on Tuesday, which should alleviate between 20 and 50,000 gallons a day. In addition, we found we're beginning to find locations where we can pretty well determine that there are people that have either broken service lines and or sump pumps by going 3 days, separate days, sitting there for 15 minutes at a time and just watching water come out, crystal clear water. I left my card for someone to call back. They called right back. It was great. Had a conversation, told them our concerns, and we'll follow up with them.
Now, if they had a broken water pipe, wouldn't they be getting a major water bill?
Not water pipe, their service, their sewer service line, the hollow line where their sewage meets ours.
But you're getting clear water out of it.
Crystal clear,
Well, where would the water come from?
the ground. Groundwater levels out there is
That's what you said, the high groundwater.
somewhere around 6 feet. I'd say the groundwater is in that general area.
You dig it out 6 feet, you're gonna get water at Swiss Beach, probably.
Definitely, yeah.
I wouldn't lie to you.
Is it brackish, salt, or clear?
I
don't
didn't get a
think-
chance to taste it, Jimmy.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Well,
We'll
please
work on
let
it.
us know when you do.
Yeah.
See if we could bottle it or not.
So it's funny, we were gonna run the guys wanted us to get a sample and run the test. I'm like, it doesn't matter. It needs to not be there. It's the principle. It doesn't, I don't care what flavor water it
So
is.
you have several homes that you've contacted. Is there anything else
One
down
so
there?
far, and we're continuing to look. We call it seek and destroy.
But you fixed Murphy Street problem.
Yes. Although, oddly enough, their service line appears to either be leaking or they have a toilet running. So it was a small amount of flow, but there was a trickle coming through the line. And we cambered all the way up it. The line is pristine until we look up their service line, and there appears to either be, again, a leak or they have a leak in their house. But that's not a sump pump, that house is on stilts. So it's just,
And that's if it's on
people
stilts,
get
it's a
leaks,
brand
and
new
it
home.
happens. What's that?
It's a brand new home on Swiss Beach off of Murphy Street if it's on stilts.
It's fairly new.
But
I
I mean,
would
you
say
can have a-
within
you
the
can-
last 5 years.
it
Yeah, I
doesn't
mean, you can have a
preclude-
leaky toilet. and-
Yeah, it doesn't preclude someone having a leaky toilet or
Until they get their water bill.
Yeah.
Interesting. So you found several sites that are being addressed.
yes. And again, a few locations are being addressed on Tuesday. And we're going out, we're finding the sites, and we're gonna put the push on to fix it, as many as possible, because we are in a lot of trouble if we don't start fixing these things. So between king tide, high groundwater level, I'm gonna imagine if we look at the USGS database and, you know, when all the data comes out, this is going to be one of the higher seasons they've had for high groundwater. So I've never seen anything like it. I've been there for 2 years, did the influent, effluent every weekend, and we are putting out 500,000 gallons more than I've ever seen at this plant. But
We are
it's
very
handling it.
close. So our
That's-
lagoons are doing what they're supposed to do, holding them.
They are, we're on pins and needles though, when we come in and look to the
You
level.
can't send it to that bog across the street.
Not as much
No.
as we'd like, yeah, no. They frown on that.
Some people just can't take a joke.
Yeah.
Any questions?
Yes.
Yes?
Are you aware of the policy that we send out with the bills as far as grinder pumps are concerned?
I saw that we send like a flyer with the bill,
Right.
and I was like,
Well,
I don't know if you've been doing it for that long.
on the back of the sewer bill, under grinder pumps, in case of an emergency power outage, property owners with existing grinder pumps need to contact our office.
Actually, I did see that, yeah.
Do you have the staff and the equipment to go out and
Yes, our on-call people can do it. We have the equipment. And I was being told by Tim that we have done it.
so we do,
And I was like, I had no idea that we were taking care of private
Change
people.
they
the bottom one, yeah,
the
yeah,
back of the bill
yeah, I know.
and the insert of the blue.
Yeah, I know, I printed the back of the bill so that I'd have it.
I brought my bill.
Yeah, nice, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we do have the truck to go out there to, a generator truck?
We have the ability, yeah?
And you've got the manpower?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But what happens is when you pay your bill, you rip off the bottom, therefore you lose the document regarding who to call with a grinder pump.
Perfect.
Because when I rip this off,
That was
I no longer have grinder pump information.
Maybe that was by design.
But it's on the blue, if they happen to read the blue section. So you don't know who writes this.
It was
Been there.
pre-made, and I looked at it, and I think we will make
Okay.
some edits next year, because there was
Yeah.
quite a few. First line doesn't make any sense, if I recall.
Nothing refers to the website. And they should be referring to the website for the information that's on the back of that.
You looked at that website?
I know we are going to start updating the website as well as creating the Facebook.
There's two websites. One lists the commissioners of only 2 people, and the other one doesn't list all of us either, so
I've talked to
Which
Matt
one am
about
I
that.
not on?
He has to refer it to
you're
the,
not on the one to the sewer plant, the WPC.
Well, that's the one we should go by.
Okay, the one you're not on.
I mentioned it to Matt, and he's referred it to the selectmen.
Because the selectmen are supposed to update, but then again, we're not under the selectmen's. Anyway, so it's one of those things that when you pay your bill, you do lose some information regarding abatements and grinder pumps. So it really has to be redesigned so that
Yes.
information stays with the person who writes the bill.
And it's too busy there. It's too much information. Should be more abbreviated.
Yeah.
Prefer to just update the website, say for information.
Refer to the
Yeah.
website.
Because I only read about the first paragraph and then I got lost.
Yeah,
I don't read anymore.
I find it incoherent. Is the word I
Read.
But there we have 743 equivalent dwelling units per year. And that was the last time we raised it. We haven't raised it since.
22, I think was effective.
Matter of fact, I pulled my notes. We approved it at our 1/20/22 meeting. Notice the new rate of $743. it went up by 15% or $97.
Okay, anything else?
Do you recall that?
Yes?
You knew
You recall that
exactly,
we specified that a certain amount of that was supposed to go for preventative maintenance?
Or capital stuff, and it never, I don't know who's doing the accounting on it, but, I think we've got, what, 5 million in free cash this past year?
Remember that, Jimmy?
which, by the way, they told me to ask you
Absolutely, dude.
for the certification.
Donna was all
DOR
for
retained
raising, and I
earnings.
said, as long as some of it goes for,
Right,
president.
for veterans,
Yes, me for it?
we've been through that.
That's what they told me to do when I asked at the office, that Derek gave it. I was talking with John Foster. And he said, talk to you, because Derek had said he wants everything to go through you.
Okay.
Now, tell me this evening, wouldn't it be better if you were down in a hole somewhere?
Currently? Am I not?
Okay, next meeting is March 28th, and might you have that room changed over by then? Do you anticipate having it?
I anticipate that, yes.
Yeah? Okay. If we have it available, because it would be ideal, and that is swapping the computer room with the conference room.
Now, are we supposed to have balloons and cake and candles for this?
Yes, but I would caution you about what you purchase for a peanut allergy, possibly,
okay.
something like that. But if we do, I'd like to,
Peanut butter cookies?
in fact, hold it during the afternoon and have just a short business meeting and have workshop.
Fine with me.
So stay tuned. Anything else?
Any idea what time in the afternoon? Don't know
I
yet.
would say start at 1 or 2, which would be more convenient. You have some activities on Thursdays, afternoons.
What date is this?
28th.
28th.
This month?
Yep.
Are we trying to make this a consistent meeting time every other Thursday?
No,
Could be if we find it
if it works.
profitable, beneficial.
So what's the format, Bernie?
Short business, and then we'll do a workshop. And by all means, give me some subjects if you'd like to have a workshop on a particular issue.
Just that, I know we want to talk about whether or not we're going to release the moratorium or reduce or ease up the
That can be on the
moratorium.
workshop.
Yes.
Yeah, because a year ago, we were told that we had about 50,000 gallons a day because of low groundwater. And Jimmy's response was, well, it's not always going to stay low, therefore we should not release, and look at what happened. But we released Damien's Pantry and the car wash.
So, yeah, we actually did that during our drought condition in that time frame.
Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah, so that's why it says.
Oh, of course.
And Jimmy says the low groundwater will be changing on us constantly. We should not be using that as a criteria to release.
Yeah.
That's right.
Brilliant, brilliant.
As Scott has just said this evening, he's bumping up against our limits, just with our rainwater and the like he has to cope with. And if we put in too many people, then he's over it.
Yeah, we gotta watch our 80% of discharge.
We're over that currently.
Yeah, we're over
but
that.
We have to do 90 consecutive days.
9 or 90?
90.
Oh, that's a,
Yeah.
oh. They'll
So
dry
once
out.
we dewater the entire town through our system, we should be fine.
And then ban king tides from now on.
Yeah, I would put a.
Do away with
At least
them.
a 7-day
Moratorium on
waiting
those.
period on it, what?
Do away with them.
Do away with them, yeah, we need to ban
Well, how
them.
bad was Swiss during that?
It took some water, especially down on Beach Street, appropriately called, yeah.
Which one?
How many high tides did you have while I was gone?
How
This
many,
was the one the other day.
Oh, the other day wasn't as bad. The
Wasn't as-
one 2 weeks
More than-
ago.
yeah, that was
If you
challenging.
know my house, and there's that little dip in the road, the storm drains are there. The road was even with the water in the bay.
So you didn't have to walk as far to the beach.
You get your flip-flops out.
It was
That was a plus.
starting to come in onto my lawn.
So you've got waterfront property and it can now be reassessed.
I make a motion, we close at 8 o'clock.
Second,
We adjourn the meeting at 8 o'clock.
second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I
Opposed? It's a vote. We adjourned at 8 o'clock.
And I now have minutes to review.